Audience? What? What are you doing staring at my chapter's officer plaques, audience? That is kind of strange of you. Well, maybe not, seeing as we are all FFA members here. And those plaques, as we all know, represent something so much larger than just the officer that stands behind those plaques at our chapter meetings, or just, there's so much, they represent something so much more than just one person. And that's the super great thing about officer teams, is that you get to work with a group of people that you may not otherwise get to work with. You are working with them towards a common goal or a common purpose. Oftentimes that's to better your chapter, or to, see a successful contest season. So, officer teams. Well, when you first come together at the beginning of the year, you have to somehow establish teamwork, communication, and trust skills, and also respecting one another's views and ideas. But how are you supposed to work with a group of people that you may or may not know very well? You might not have ever worked with them before. Well, one of the first things that I like to think of to come to establish all of these skills is team building activities. Now, team building activities are super great because there's such a large variety that you have when you're planning team building activities. And they're great not just to initially establish all of these different characteristics, their teamworking and trust and communication, but they work if you hit a bump in the road sometime during the year and things kind of start to go awry and it's just not going quite smoothly. They work really, really well to reestablish all of those. So that's a really great reason that team building activities are so important. And they work not only in your officer teams, but also in your chapter as a whole. They work really well to establish these things on a large scale, not just a small scale. So when you're planning your team building activities for your chapter, it's a lot of fun because you have so much versatility. There's so many options out there. And also they're really great because when you are trying to establish teamwork and communication and trust, you don't want to get up and just lecture your officer team or your chapter, because oftentimes they don't want to sit there and listen to you talk. They don't want to sit there and be lectured. They want to get up off their beat and they want to be involved. They want to play a game. They want to do an activity. So that's one of the really great things about team building activities, is that they get everybody up off their feet and they get everybody involved. It's not just lecturing them, but it's actively teaching them actively getting the point across. So there's, like I said, there's a ton of different team building activities, but there's two I'm going to talk to you all about today. And that's the gutter line or pipeline ball, depending on what you end up using for your game, and then a really basic balloon activity. Now, the pipeline or gutter ball game is how you set it up, is you take assorted lengths of pipe or gutter or whatever you have, and you have to get a marble or a ping pong ball or a tennis ball from point A to point B. And at point B, you want to have a bucket for the ball to drop into. And you have to make sure that the 2 points are far enough away where the ball is going to have to pass through everyone's pipe more than once. So you start off with your big long chain of pipes, and then you have to figure out some way to keep that chain going as the ball goes through. And it's a lot of fun because it shows that you have to have a plan to get something done. And not only do you have to have a plan, but you have to execute it. So that one's really great for just all different sorts of characteristics that you need in a team. And that one's a lot of fun with depending on the size of your chapter. Like when we did this with our chapter, we split our chapter in thirds and we did it. And we timed everybody, and whoever got the fastest got the bragging rights. And so it's a lot of fun. And then the second game is just a really basic balloon game. Now, balloon games are always a lot of fun because, well, let's face it, everybody loves messing around with balloons. And it's a really easy setup for a game. All you have to do is blow up your balloons ahead of time, or you can even have each member blow up their own balloons. And what you're going to do is you're going to blow up enough balloons for everybody to have 1 or 2 balloons, but you want to have more balloons than you have members, or more than members than like each member wants to have 2 or 3 balloons. And you have to throw them out in the middle, and you have to keep all the balloons up for, say, 5 minutes. And that's actually a lot harder than it sounds, because people get excited and start getting balloons further away from the circle, and then people have to start running out to get them up, and it's just really great for communication. So those are the 2 games that I was going to talk to you about. And those 2 games by absolutely no means make up even close to all the team building activities out there. And one thing that when I was at Area Officer Institute this summer with my area officer team, the state officers there, they did a workshop on actually how to give a workshop. And the advice that they gave us in this workshop goes for anything out there. Don't be afraid to use your resources. Use your advisor, use your state officers, use past state officers or area officers or even past chapter officers that have been really active, and they will help you come up with a plan. They will help you come up with something that will perfectly fit your situation. And also, not just your people, but use the internet, because somebody out there has had a very similar situation to what you have, and they are going to take it and you'll be able to take their ideas and suggestions and twist it into your own activities, so to fit your situation perfectly. So remember that team building activities are a perfect way to establish teamworking, communication, and trust skills. And don't be afraid to use your resources. So I'm going to be leaving you guys here, but don't leave comments, suggestions, or questions in the comments box below, because they help us out a ton. You may have the next big hit or something topic for our videos. So yeah, leave comment suggestions, and I'm going to be leaving, and you'll have a great day, week, month, time planning and executing your FFA week, because that's coming up super soon. And also, there's no better time to do team building activities in a chapter meeting than during FFA week. So y'all have a ton of fun, and I will see you all for our next video.